So Ben from Manchester asks, I'm thinking of going to a hypnotist to try to give up my 10-a-day habit. Will it be wasting my money? Well, hypnosis as part of therapy can be helpful to helping you to quit smoking. So you wouldn't be wasting your money if you go to a hypnotist who's well trained and knows what they're doing. Hypnotists who claim huge successes and have sort of 90-95% success rates or anything like that, I'd want to know what evidence they have for that. In psychological research, the success rate for hypnotherapy or for hypnosis being used to quit smoking. So in psychological research, the success rate for hypnosis being used to help people to quit smoking is about 25% for single session hypnotherapy and 27% for 3 sessions, up to 3 sessions of hypnotherapy. So that's about 1 in 4 chance that you'll quit smoking if you go to a hypnotist. If someone is claiming a much, much higher success rate than that, then check what their evidence is. If their evidence is, I phoned clients 6 months later and they've told me they've quit, that's not solid evidence, because those clients could have told them anything to get them off the phone. So you want to be careful that you're going to a hypnotist who's genuinely going to be helpful to you. Really, the only person that can help you to quit smoking is you. And so a decent hypnotherapist will address the root cause, will address what's behind your smoking. So they'll treat your hypnosis as your form of medication. They'll think, okay, so what is it that makes you smoke? Why are you deciding to smoke? What are the benefits for having that cigarette? Why are you doing it? And it would be linked to your innate emotional needs. So things like having a need for a sense of control, a need for being able to relax, a need for being able to mix with a social group, all these different things. So it will be addressing something like that. And for example, teenagers that start smoking are often doing it because it meets the need for feeling like they belong to part of a social group, because it helps them to fit in with their peers. Adults often do it because they find a lot in life stressful and they do it as a way of relaxing, even though actually the cigarette isn't what's relaxing. The breathing you do when you smoke is what's relaxing, because nicotine is actually a stimulant and not a relaxing thing. But the nicotine is out of your body in 48 hours or so. So once you stop smoking, 48 hours later, you have no addiction left to the nicotine. All you've got left is a psychological habit, and that could be linked to different environmental stimulus. So it could be to stress, it could be to, for example, having a cup of coffee and wanting a cigarette, answering the phone and talking on the phone and wanting a cigarette while you talk on the phone. So it'll be all these connections you formed. And sometimes you can cure that really quickly. Other times there are so many different connections that are all equally as strong. So most people, there's a couple of driving connections like stress or the first coffee in the morning or something. There's a couple of really, really, really tightly wound up connections between the links between the smoking and some stimulus, and the rest are just things that you could probably break quite easily. So the hypnotist wants to address those. I've got a Quit Smoking in 7 Days program on this site, and what that does is it takes you through over 7 different sessions how to address all these different areas that need addressing as part of therapy. So hypnosis on its own doesn't help someone to quit smoking, and someone just suggesting a problem away and suggesting you will no longer be a smoker, you will stop smoking now, you will find smoking disgusting. Someone doing that under hypnosis is unlikely to get lasting results with you. And so many people that come to see me for hypnosis for quitting smoking don't quit in that session because they need to make life changes. So say someone comes to me and says, I smoke 10 a day and I have done for 20 years. I want to stop smoking now, and I find out from them their main driver, their main thing they smoke for is stress, and it's their way of relaxing. So in the session I might teach them a relaxation technique, a breathing technique, and then I will say to them I want them to go away and practice that and start using that in place of smoking. So they don't necessarily stop smoking straight away, because the smoking is what manages their stress. But what happens is when they address the stress issues and deal with the stress issues, then they find it much easier to quit smoking, because they know they've got an alternative way of handling those situations.